we need a sign, but not just any sign. Welcome back, Shopping Channel, and all the happy horse stuff. What do I mean by sign? Well, I'll explain it as I go along in this video, but I'm putting an address sign over our garage doors out front of here. Garage, you know, what our address is. I've got it on the mailbox, but there's a little bit of stories there. So it's going to be outside. Now it's the north side of the house, so it gets no direct sunlight, but I want to keep it getting munged up by the weather. So what am I going to use? Exploded foam exterior, interior, PVC boards, trim boards, PVC trim board. This will last forever. This is paintable and all that kind of good stuff. But I don't carve. I've said it before, I do not carve. So this is a CNC job. I've already designed up, which is nothing more than putting letters in a box, numbers in a box. The cut pattern or the tool path for V-carve is going to cut the numbers in here. So let's get over here. Let me get out the piece of wood I need, which is 14 by 5, and then continue on from there. This is going to be painted. The letters are the numbers are going to be painted once they're cut out, and they're going to be black against a white background. And I've done this in a previous video, but I'll go through the whole demonstration again this time. I'm going to use frisket film or frisk film, and this has a modest tack, kind of like a Post-it note, only better. And you peel it off and put it down on your workpiece, and then you run the V bit through with V-carve in the CNC to cut your numbers out, and it takes the frisket film only off where the numbers are. So now you've got this thing covered and protected from the paint, and then you can just go spray on the paint and lap on the paint as much as you want, and when it dries, peel off the frisket and you have your numbers. So now as far as the thing about the numbers are concerned for the house, so the story is we have it on our mailbox, and our neighbor has it on her mailbox. But and my mailbox is kind of on right just before the property line. And what happens is, and I've seen delivery people and people coming over looking up at the house to get the number and not seeing it, not looking at the mailbox. Some packages have been delivered to her house because, oh, that's the number on the mailbox there, so that must be the house. So I'm going to do what they never did when they built these houses, is put a house number on the garage, on the front of the garage. And I think 14 by 5 is plenty big enough to be seen from the street. I mean, it's only the driveway holds 2 cars, one behind the other, so it's not that long. Now I got to get this open. There we go. Now I got to do this, peel this off, and put this down without having it curl up on me. Careful, carefuling, as Sarah in tune would say, carefuling. And then pull it a little taut and start laying it on the workpiece. And it's on the workpiece, see? Now the nice thing about frisk film, it goes by either name, is you can write on it. So when I need to mark the starting point for the V-bit. I can mark where the starting point is and put the V-bit right where it needs to be, exactly where it needs to be. Now I'm going to roll this. I think that's good enough. Got a little bit of dust under it, but you can basically roll, push this down so it seals up where there's any speckles on it. So normally what I would do is I'd paint this first with whatever the primary color was going to be on the sign. Like I see it in camera, but that sign up there, that's my little shop sign. Oh, you can't see it. Yeah, little shop sign. Let me go get it, bring it down again. I've done this several times. This is the very first sign I ever made. It's my logo and the shop sign with the color, and I painted it the yellow first, and then I put the Frisk film on, and then I cut out the letters with the CNC, and then I painted the black in the letters, and the CNC also I had it machine a little, I guess, rabbit all the way around this, and then I just painted that freehand in red all the way around, which is the logo on my website. I don't have a website. I have a website, but I don't use it, on my YouTube page. So that's where we are now. I've already done the drawing work in VCarve. And so what I'm going to do next is clear this off, mark the center. I'll bring out the CNC machine and jig this up in place, and we'll go through the process of centering the bit and cutting the numbers out. If all goes well, then I can paint it. And I'm going to use one of the Fusion, who makes it Krylon Fusion for plastic spray paints to paint the letters. Let's move on. Got the CNC out of its corner and covered, and I have my center marked on the workpiece, which is the index for the starting of the work of the job. And I need to clamp. I'm going to clamp it by the corners, very carefully. You don't need anything running into your clamps. These are just little oak clamps that I made quite a while ago. So I'm going to get these two in like this. So I won't be interfering with the cuts. Oh, I got to turn this a little bit. There we go. But now I want to measure I haven't got this table indexed and marked for X and Y. So I could just line things up by eye. So I'm lining them up by gauge. And you do it from the front. So that's that. I'm going to set it to that depth. Move that. It's that simple. So now I give this a little bit more tightness so it holds it in place. Bring up my other clamps. Grab it here. I got a nice long one here that I use for when I know I'm going to get interference from the dust collector head. That's what usually causes the problem, the dust collector head. Okay, that's not going to move anywhere. So now to index the cutter with that X right there. Bring out my game controller. Okay, now okay, that's as close as I want to get that way. So now I'm going to go to precise and down a little bit. Don't need my glasses for this. Turn sideways. Okay, good. Now I want to line it up. with the front to top line. Boom. And I turn it sideways again, so the V is now this way, and now I can line it up with what I would call the horizontal line. All right, that's it. That's all aligned. And now I want to set the depth. And you can, there's two ways you can do this usually. If you don't have a probe, what you can do is slowly bring out, put a piece of paper between the workpiece and the cutter, and slowly bring your head down and move until it catches the paper, and then set your 0, and then go ahead and do your cuts. But I have a probe which involves hooking up the ground to the probe up to the cutter itself, bring up the cutter, put the probe underneath it. Now I've got I have a there's a utility within the software that allows me to set the probe to depth. And when I want to touch, now it just gave me the green light that it knows the probe is there because I've touched the probe to the cutter. Start the probe. It does it twice. So now it knows precisely where Z is. And what I mean by that is this is exactly 760 thousandths thick. I set that within the software, what the thickness of my probe is. And now it knows exactly where it needs to, what it needs to do, where it is in relation to the workpiece itself. So I think I have to load a file. The file is, I have a server. I'm still old school. I have a server in the basement in RAID 5 that I store everything in, and it also has a backup, and it's backed up online. So I want to go to our files, AutoCAD. No, root of the directory, G-code files. And what I'm looking for is the one that says address, G-code. Open that file up. All right. Again, you can't see what's on the screen. I have a previous video where I actually show what's on the screen. So it is there. Index it to the top. And now I'm ready to cut. So what I want to do is put in the dust collection boot, put on the headset, listen to the tunes, and I'll bring the camera over while it does some cutting. You won't be able to see it because this stuff really is messy, and I want to make sure that the dust collection gets it all. One of the things I forgot to mention is before you start your job, and you've indexed it to where you want to start the cut and all that, you have to 0 X and Y, because you'll have numbers up here that tell you where X and Y is, but your X and Y is here, and you want that to be 0, 0 there, and then the Z is where the Z winds up. So let's see if this actually is going to work. And success. Let's get it out of here. (10623). Now what I need to do now is just make sure I get the carving section, the carved section is clean as possible, and then the spray painting is going to happen outside. My head's cut off, I know. Out there, I'll paint out there. Not going to paint in here because it stinks up the shop. We don't need to stink up the shop. So anyway, I'm also going to do the edge somehow. I don't know, maybe put a radius on it, or maybe do some corner treatment or whatever. That'll be done, you know, after all this painting is done and it's all taken apart, peel off the fisket. But there it is. Let's move on to the next step and paint that up. And there's the kind of finished product. I have to do something on the ends to give it a little more character. And this paint is not completely cured. It's not dried too hard. And I want it to that point before I do any other work on it. So that's our new sign. I'll trim it out and we'll put it up on the front of the, I don't know if I have my camera out there. Anyway, my neighbors will see it, I don't care. I have to put this out on the front of the house and I'll show you to you when it's up. Yeah, it came out really nice. Here's the final version. A little rounded in the ends, that's it. I put a cleat on the back to stand it off from the surface, because with vinyl siding, you have to put whatever you're going to fasten to the wall, you either have to have a mounting thing designed to go on to vinyl siding, or put your screws in and your loading in where one clab ends and then the other one begins. And it's a German lap, so there's a gap. We really didn't want this particular siding when we built the house, but they went ahead and did whatever they wanted. So anyhow, final version, it's going to go up. Got to drill the holes, and I'm also going to make some plugs to go in those holes once it's fastened to the wall to hide the screw holes, of course. I now have a sign. The jokes write themselves. Ready for installation. So the first thing I did was the counterbore holes for the screws. So the screws will be buried below the surface. Come out the back. The cleat here can ride right up against one of the clabs, where the bottom of a clab on the vinyl siding, to hold it in place and make it pretty level. And then to hide the screw holes, I cut plugs, or bungs as we call them, out of some of the parent material, which is the PVC. And I have 2 plugs. I'll hammer these in place and then chisel off the tops. On a ladder, of course, outside. So I'm going to go mount this up, and my camera can't sit on the driveway because the driveway's sloped and this is on wheels. So I'm not sure how I'm going to do this, if I'm going to video that or just show you the finished product. I'll decide that when I get out there on the ladder. All right, so let's go put us up and we'll finish this project and move on to the next one at some point. And there it is. We have our sign. Yes, I know, the jokes write themselves. So, until next time, make great things out of wood.